how does Tor Project obtain money if their software and VPN Orbot are free? Government grants and individual donations are going to be your biggest ones. Then you've got percentage on private foundations. And there's also non-US government, corporate, and other. Various tech companies such as Google and the Brave browser also made significant donations to the Tor project. And also certain cybersecurity companies will make donations to the Tor project. And different science foundations also have in the past and probably in the future make donations to the project. And people are kind of skeptical about the US government and them making donations and them having a say or control over the Tor project or Tor browser or Tor network or various things. And actually, they only give grants and donations to the Tor project for to preserve freedom of speech and censorship, which is ironic because in today's world, especially in the US, they're trying to censor people more and not give us the freedom of speech, press, and all those things that we once knew as more solid, which is kind of ironic. But the Tor browser and the Tor project and all these things are open source. So people audit those, especially hackers and various people that work with cybersecurity people and various people that work with the Tor project. Actually, they audit the software and they can look in the software and see backdoors that are open. A backdoor is something that is in the software that basically you leave the door open in your house and people can come in. There's a back door somewhere in your house that's unlocked or open, and anyone can just come in and violate your privacy in your home. Similarly, why they call it a back door in software. This is why open source software is really secure, because not one entity can see that. Something like Apple, with something like Apple or other software programs or entities, they keep their software private, which means you don't know what they're doing with said software. You don't know what's going on, and random individuals can't just audit or look into the software. So they could be working with the government or any institutions or any persons or groups, and your privacy or your data or anything on said platform could just be gone or exposed or whatever you don't want to happen. But with the Tor project, they're open source, and they say publicly that they're open source, and people can go in, especially their team, and they can easily, especially hackers and various people, can see what's going on and prevent that. Now, just because the US government donates, in this case, doesn't mean they have control over. They just donate to the Tor project. Originally, and I think they still do this, they still land on, I'm sure there's tons of individuals in the government that still want to preserve our freedoms of speech and our freedoms of press and all these things. And so they keep this running. Because if they didn't, they could easily shut it down. They could easily shut down said services, and they haven't. Or they haven't restricted it in our country. In countries like, in parts of China, they have restricted the Tor network and such. So they are banning those freedoms from their citizens, not us. Okay? But you may think, oh, well, it's fake. If the government is donating, then that means that they are controlling. No, they're just making grants. They're just giving the Tor Project grants and funding for their services. And the Tor Project publicly says that they do not affiliate, or at least they're not controlled by the government. They're their own entity. And even if the government was partially controlling it or trying to bring it so they can control what's going on there and such, more hackers and auditors and different people will come in and find those vulnerabilities, and they will patch them. But keep in mind, even if it's not the government, other entities can still steal your data, and things can still happen. Even if you're 98% private, there's still 3% or 2% of that could still be leaked. And it's all about how you use said software. Because in the end of the day, nothing is 100% perfect. And one leak could happen one day, one patch could not be updated 1 second, and everything could be exposed. But it's way better to use something like the Tor browser than other just regular everyday browsers, because it's got those privacy things in place. So just because the government gives the Tor Project grants does not mean that they have full control over the Tor Project. And we don't actually know what's privately discussed with people within the Tor Project or working on these things unless it's publicly available. So unless publicly available, what we know for now is that the government does not control, or they do not run the Tor Project. They are their own entity, just funded by the government and people like you. In the link in the description, I will provide the link to donating to the Tor Project. Make sure to subscribe to get all notifications for when I post new videos about the Tor Project and Tor Network. This YouTube channel is all about discussing and learning about and teaching the Tor Network. And any questions you may have, please leave them in the comments below or on any other forums, and I will check those out and possibly add your question, the one you're curious about, in the next video.